Defending state champ Naperville Central survives a scare from Peoria Richwoods. Today, the Red Hawks try to vote Marian Catholic off the island. The Spartans trying to get to their second state title game in the last 3 years. And welcome to IHSA March Madness AA girls style. It's a rematch of a quarterfinal game last year. Naperville Central beat Marian Catholic on the way to the state title, and they'll try to do it again here today in our second semifinal. Hello and welcome to the campus of Illinois State University. I'm Lee Hall. It's number one, Naperville Central, the defending state champs. A scare last night for Peoria Richwoods. They try to survive again here today and take on a determined Marian Catholic team who's playing their best basketball of the year. For the call of our second semifinal, let's go to Dave Bernhardt and Daryl Kipp. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Lee, and Lee is right on. It is a rematch from last year. In fact, last year that score 61-41, Naperville Central having their way with Marian Catholic. Well, they bumped this game up just one notch here into the state semifinals. Marian Catholic, Shannon Reedy, they have something to prove today.
Well, and talking to the Marian Catholic players, they were very excited about this matchup. This is what they wanted, but sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for.
Take a look at how these two teams made it to this Saturday morning game. This is it. Joliet Catholic Academy and Sandburg fell in the sectionals to Marian Catholic. Then Stagg, for the second year in a row, lost to the Spartans in the super sectional. And then last night's great ball game against Grayslake. Record-tying 58% shooting from the field for Marian Catholic in that one. That sends them here to the semis. As far as Naperville Central is concerned, well, they had to get by a couple of valleys. Wabansi and Nequa in the sectionals, and then got rid of old nemesis Bennett. 4 times Bennett had eliminated the Red Hawks in state tournament competition. And then, as you just heard, that 8-point win. It took an 18-8 run in the fourth quarter for Peoria Richwoods to do it, and he did it behind Candace Parker, 35 points and 17 rebounds. But as far as Marian Catholic is concerned, you know, we can speak of any number of players in terms of their balance. Today, we talk about Brea Banks. They needed her last night.
They certainly did, and she stepped up with 8 straight points when Lauren Lacey got in foul trouble.
Of course, on the other side, how can you not talk about the young lady that had 35 points and 17 rebounds last night? She's the National Player of the Year. That's Candace Parker.
There's nothing to say about Candace Parker because everything's been said. She is an outstanding player, and she's a leader in the entire state.
Well, as we said, these teams are very familiar with each other, both coming from the northern part of the state. They played each other last year. The cast for Naperville Central, very much the same. Marian Catholic, they did graduate 9 seniors. However, when we take a look at it, the keys to the ball game, first of all, for Marian Catholic.
Well, Marian Catholic's guards have to get the ball inside, and they did somewhat yesterday. They forced it a little bit, but when they got it in, they didn't finish. And so when you get it into Lauren and Brea Banks inside, you've got to finish, especially against Naperville. And the other problem that Marian has, their guards just can't get in foul trouble, and the big kids can't get in foul trouble. Last row they had Banks and Lacey were out of the game, and Casey Taylor stayed in, but you can't get in foul trouble like that.
As far as Naperville Central is concerned, Andy Nussbaum has his plan laid out.
Well, Naperville didn't seem too interested yesterday in the game. They were just kind of going through the motions. I think they were looking forward to the day, and they're going to have to play a lot harder than they did. Their transition defense was not very good, and I'm sure Andy's talked to them about that. They have to get back, and they have to protect the basket.
You know, it's very interesting. These two teams, each of them went to see the movie Miracle. Of course, that's the story of the 1980 United States Olympic hockey team against the Russians, and they really got different perspectives out of it. For Marian Catholic, it was a team bonding, a unifying experience, showing that they could be the Americans. But Rachel Chrissy, as far as Naperville Central is concerned, after they saw the movie, she said, you know, we are the Russians. It is time for Naperville Central to try to defend their title, but they first of all have to get past Marian Catholic. For the starting lineup of today's ball game, we meet all the players. It will be the winners to face New Trier. We go to our public address announcer here at Redbird Arena. That's Jeff Bridson.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for this second semifinal game in the IHSA Class AA Girls Basketball Tournament. First for Marian, number 1, a 5'3" junior, Keisha Collins. Next from Naperville Central, number 3, a 5'9" senior, Rachel Chrissy. Next for Marian Catholic, number 4, a 6' junior, Brea Banks. And for Naperville, number 11, a 5'11" sophomore, Lauren Grahowski. For Marian Catholic, number 13, a 5'11" junior, Casey Taylor. For Naperville, number 20, a 5'8" senior, Tiffany Hudson. For Marian Catholic, number 24, a 5'7" junior, Sky Johnson. For Naperville Central, number 22, a 5'10" sophomore, Erica Carter. For Marian, number 34, a 6'3" senior, Lauren Lacey. And for Naperville, a 6'4" senior, number 32, Candace Parker. Marian Catholic is coached by Shannon Reedy. She brings a 132-49 record into her 6th year of coaching. Naperville Central, coached by Andy Nussbaum, in his 16th year with a record of 350 wins and 135 losses. Your officials.
So both of these two teams escaped last night in the quarterfinals. This style they will run out their starting 5. Brea Banks, as we talked about her, along with Casey Taylor, and of course inside it's Lauren Lacey. You're going to get a kick out of watching guard Sky Johnson along with Keisha Collins. On the other side, Lauren Grahowski, very quiet. She is a sophomore, but she gets it done. And of course, Candace Parker along with Rachel Chrissy, Tiffany Hudson, and Erica Carter round out the starting lineups as we get set. The winner to face New Trier in the state championship AA game later on this evening. Shannon Reedy has talked about her Spartans and has said, you know what, we need to have great balance. They did last night. As far as Naperville Central is concerned, they did not have the balance until the final quarter, and that's when Erica Carter stepped up, Lauren Grahowski with a big basket, and of course you have Candace Parker in the middle. What a battle there will be today between Parker and Lacey.
Naperville's got 3 kids that are the guards. They've got a shooter, a ball handler, and they've got some toughness in Rachel Chrissy. They all have their own role, and they all are good around Candace Parker. She does a good job involving everyone.
Parker has it up top. She'll go after it in a hurry.
Nice spin move right in the middle of the lane. You can't let her turn to the basket. You got to put a little bit of body on her and keep her away. Once she gets in the key, she's awful top to stop.
Johnson is cut off. This is Casey Taylor, Keisha Collins to Brea Banks. Lauren Lacey, and they all 5 touch it on successive passes.
Marian Catholic's using their 4-out, 1-in offense that they usually use, so they have Lauren Lacey outside right now.
Taylor was quiet last night. She goes right after Parker, but Parker with the rebound, leading the break. Ahead to Chrissy.
Rachel Chrissy.
6'4" senior leads the break. Chrissy finishes. 4-0, the early Red Hawk advantage. Cover up on Collins. Lacey can shoot it from out there.
Problem is when you have 4 out and 1 in as a rebounder, you don't get many second shots, so you either put it in or you lose it.
Block number 1 for Parker on Johnson.
Not a good idea to post your point guard inside on Candace Parker. She's going to have an advantage there every time. You have to go around her. You cannot go over her.
It was 5'7" going up against 6'4".
Well, plus her arms make her about 6'8".
Parker knocks down the 17-footer, the early 6-0 lead to Naperville.
And everything's happening right in the key for Naperville. You can't let that happen.
Lacey looks over top of Carter. The skip pass intercepted by Chrissy.
I mean, Naperville's defense is a 2-3 zone right now, but they're just matching up because they don't have those inside presences. So they're just matching up and taking away the outside game.
Take a look at the common opponents. We think actually there would have been a few more teams that they would have faced. Both 2-1 against their common opponents. Collins finds no opening. They look a little confused here early, Darrell. Long one from Lacey.
That's not the shot you want from Lauren Lacey, exactly.
Good board by Taylor. Parker away with it. Behind the back, between the legs until she's fouled.
Just control the ball and wait for him to run into you. I tell you, with the Naperville defense, Candace is really hanging out underneath the basket, and the high post is open, but Naperville is not cutting anyone there, Marian is not cutting anyone there. There'll be wide open shots right at the free throw line extended or the free throw line in the middle if they'll just work that area.
Rahowski with the touch to Chrissy. Chrissy with just 4 points last night. Parker snatches it away from Taylor off the miss from Hudson. Candace Parker with the roll. Count it.
Right now it's Candace Parker with the domination.
Candace Parker tracked it down. She finished it off.
Well, this all starts with a rebound and hustle, and if you're going to play against Candace Parker, you have to put a body on her wherever she goes. When you just let her do whatever she wants to do, everybody's going to stand and watch because she's got so many moves and so much agility.
The 9-0 lead is not what Marian Catholic wanted today. 7 of those 9 points coming from Parker.
Now we've got a little half-court trap by Naperville. Put a little bit more pressure. It's a 2-1-2.
A whistle and a foul. Parker will get called for the personal. Naperville Central fans do not like it. Marian Catholic says, we will take it. Timeout on the floor. The early 9-0 lead belongs to the Red Hawks. And this IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. And Chevrolet. Stop by and see your local Chicago, Northwest Indiana, or Central Illinois Chevy dealer today. There's your ticket, www.ihsa.org. That is your ticket to every piece of information that you would want. And the month of March is especially special on ihsa.org. Game recaps, live update scoring, previews of coming up games. You've got yourself the A, the double A, the boys, the girls. You can follow it all right there on ihsa.org. Some may wonder why Shannon Reedy would not call a timeout earlier as Banks goes in hard for the first points of the game for Marian.
Right up over Candace. I think what you have to do is you have to drive right at Candace Parker. You got to occupy her into an area of the floor, and then you got to dish to somebody that's open in another area because you can't let her just stand underneath the basket and dominate you on defense. She'll get every rebound that way too. Peoria Richwoods did a great job of that yesterday.
Long from Carter. About 3 inches too short on her shot. Maybe if she steps in about 3 inches, she has it. 47-41 defeat to Bennett. That came when Parker was out with her ACL injury. So it was a good feeling for Andy Nussbaum because not only did that avenge that loss, but we said 4 times since 1989, Naperville Central's season has been ended in the state tournament by the Red Wings from Bennett Academy. You know, we were talking about that timeout. We want to remind everybody that coaches here have a different set of timeouts. Lauren Lacey, 3-ball goes. Lacey averaging nearly 20 points per ball game, hits her first 3. She has 24 3-pointers on the season. That timeout situation, coaches get 3 60-second timeouts in a state tournament. You have each TV timeout in each quarter. So that's why some people may say, well, why doesn't a coach call a timeout? They are waiting for the television timeout, plus they have to be economical with the 60 seconds. Carter answers.
You can't let her stand. She's a terrific shooter from the 3-point range, even though she missed her first 2.
Carter's 3 offsets Lacey's. Difference stays at 7. Rahowski shovels to Parker. Here comes the break. The dish to Chrissy, the reverse. The tip.
Nobody puts a body on her. You have to put a body on Candace Parker every time. You have to identify where she is, and you have to go after her.
9 points here in the first 5 minutes for Parker. They get it inside to Taylor. There's a second block. Lacey strong.
Yeah, there Taylor had actually occupied her, and Lacey was able to slide from the weak side down to the block and get the rebound and put it back in because Candace wasn't in position to play defense that time. And she's the only big defender they have inside.
Hudson on the feed to Grahowski.
That's poor rotation from the Marian defense. The guard needs to slide down and take that whenever there's penetration.
On the powerful drive is Taylor. She'll get another chance. And another rejection. Taylor still down on the other end. We had some action going down underneath the boards. The long bounce pass eventually leads to a foul. We said these two teams come from the northern half of the state, in fact, the northeast part of the state. Naperville, a western suburb of Chicago, and Chicago Heights, a south suburb. They have not met this year. The last time they played was right here on the floor of Redbird Arena.
Yeah, the best defense I saw played on Candace Parker was last year with Regina Dominic, and Christina Quay did a great job of just bodying her and not letting her go to the basket. And Regina just barely fell short in that game.
Kristen Ludwig into the ball game for Naperville Central. Banks shoots over her. Chrissy will tip the rebound out to herself. Ashley Haluska has entered the game for Marian. It's a pattern that we've seen Andy Nussbaum use to get Parker out of the ball game in the last minute. Grahowski, the offensive board, the steal from Collins.
This is the point where Marian's got to make up some distance here.
Acceleration from Collins. She'll get 2 free throws out of it.
You need to take advantage of the players that are on the floor right now. With Candace out, you can attack the basket, get the ball inside to Lauren Lacey, or get the ball inside to Casey Taylor or Bria Banks, and make up some time here.
Back on February 7th, Carmel, one of the outstanding teams, East Suburban Catholic, got the better of Marian Catholic, and as we had mentioned last night, that was a part of a stretch that Marian Catholic, you know, you talk about closing a season in strong fashion, they really struggled at one point, losing 3 of their last 4 games to wrap up the regular season. Collins hits the second.
Now we need a defensive stop to get this game back into perspective, being a close one.
Lead is doubled up. Chrissy will come around. Here's Hudson. Gets rid of it in a hurry. And the whistle. Tiffany Hudson will be playing her college basketball here on this floor. In fact, a couple of ISU recruits have been involved in games this week. We saw Amber Shelton yesterday from Edwardsville. Will be a Redbird next year.
One of the things you do not want to do is foul a jump shooter. It's one of the rules in basketball you should always follow, and that wasn't good, although they called it after the shot, I guess.
Yeah,
that was surprising.
That's what he's asking about. Up top is Grahowski. Clock underneath a minute here in the first quarter. Chrissy thought that Ludwig was going to cut. Ludwig didn't see it, and now we're told it went off one of the black jersey players. Chrissy with the shoulder down. Stops, pops. Ludwig the board. Nice feed inside to Grahowski.
That's just a poor defensive series for Marian because they didn't put a body on the ball when it was shot, and you have to seal them off. You just can't let them get those second and third shots. They'll just kill you.
Lacey had a good look, and now the Redhawks, with under 30 and a 10-point lead, will pull it out. Hudson just breaking away momentarily from Johnson to keep the count off. Hudson took a few steps. No whistle until the ball goes out of bounds.
They didn't see her. This is an important possession right here at the end of the quarter for Marian. They only have 5 seconds left, but if they could just get a basket, get it back down a manageable area of only 8 points, it'll give them a little bit of momentum, and you're going to face Parker coming back in the next quarter again.
Jackie Pryor in for Hudson the last 4 seconds. Johnson ahead to Lacey. She'll launch. And that will end the first period. Naperville Central flexing their muscles. The top-ranked team in the state, the defending state champs, a 10-point lead. We've got more from Redbird Arena after these words from your local stations. The 4 most exciting Saturdays for high school basketball fans. We're in the middle of it right now. Class A champion Decatur St. Teresa crowned last week. Tonight, we will crown a AA state champion in girls basketball. And then coming up, we take the show to Peoria and Carver Arena. That's where the boys single A action will take place next Saturday. And then finally, the boys AA. But tonight, it's all about the girls AA championship tonight at 8 o'clock. And those ladies would like to be right here on the Redbird Arena floor to try to get their team, Naperville Central, in for their 2nd straight state championship.
Well, this is all about shot selection. They've got to get some good shots.
Instead, Hudson bursting the other way.
That doesn't help anything right there. So here came Candace Parker, and nobody even found her. Went right to the basket for the tip.
Haluska and Hudson, a battle over the ball. The possession will go to Naperville Central. Parker to inbound. Hudson scrapping again for the 2nd time in about 3 seconds. She'll be involved in a held ball. Tiffany Hudson was a transfer back in February of 2002 from Oak Park River Forest.
Certainly has helped them too.
Taylor goes hard. Haluska with the putback. Wasn't necessarily pretty, but it counts for 2, and the lead is chopped underneath double digits, 2-8.
Well, that seems to be Marian's best play. They drive right at Candace Parker. She tries to block the shot, and then they get the rebound on the other side of the board and put it right back in, because there's nobody else that can take the big kids from Marian except for Candace Parker.
Johnson got a hand in the ball. Taylor away with it, and the foul goes against Christie. Again, we keep saying important possession, but you get a feeling for Marian Catholic, this one becomes so important. You get that lead down to 6 points, now you feel like you can work with something.
And you have to keep contact, just like a runner in a race. You just can't let things get away from you, and they get away early, it's going to be real hard to catch up.
Lacey touches at the free throw line. Taylor was quiet last night. She'll track her own missed shot down. She's going to go up. She's going to score.
And that's the 3rd putback they've had on rebounds. That seems to be their best offense right now. Put the ball at the basket, get the rebound, and put it back in.
10-point lead. Down to 6 as we take a look at how evenly matched these teams are. Naperville Central shoots at a 53% clip from the field. Parker does not get the roll. Lacey gets the board. Marian Catholic fans coming alive. Johnson will pull it up. Haluska battles for the board. Ashley Haluska off the bench, making an impact. Naperville Central senses the momentum change. They want a timeout. We talk about Haluska has come on strong here. And all of a sudden, Darrell, there was a surge here by Marian Catholic where all of a sudden the confidence, they seem to have discovered it.
And a little bit more confidence in them, plus the fact you can look at Naperville's faces and they seem like they're a little frustrated with what's going on right now. They're not really executing, and defensively they're not getting back and playing the lanes.
Well, and one of the things that may have turned that around was the way that Marian hit the offensive glass.
On the backside, there's just nobody else that can handle the second big hit from Marian.
Spartans want to take a few steps farther as far as Shannon Reedy is concerned. She made it to the state championship game in 2002. Ended up finishing second with a 31-2 record. Brea Banks is number 4. That's who we are referring to, or that's who they are referring to. An 18-14 lead for Naperville Central. And just, what are we looking at? A little about 2 minutes ago, it was a 10-point difference. Ashley Haluska will head to the free throw line. Haluska, not a dynamite free throw shooter, just 40% on the season. She has made 8 of 20. There you see the impact that Candace Parker has. 22-0 since she returned in the Dundee Crown tournament. She's been the high scorer in every one but one game, and top rebounder every one but 3. In fact, right now, Naperville Central has a 56-game winning streak with Parker in the lineup. They have 2 losses on the season. This came early in the year as Haluska finishes off the three-point play. 5 points for Haluska, and she gets a pat in the back from Lauren Lacey and a hug from Shannon Reedy. Big impact from the 6'1 junior. Hudson ahead to Chrissy. That's a tough shot. Krahowski, the ball on the floor, and gives it away. Down by 3, the Spartans on the move. Lacey the spin. Parker ahead to Hudson. A 3-on-2. Stops and pops and hits. Tiffany Hudson, her first bucket of the day. Big turn right there in the last 5 seconds. Taylor looking to penetrate. The pick from Hudson on the breakaway. She finishes. They are explosive.
Well, those turnovers will just kill you, and that's what happened there. She tried to penetrate through the gap, and there wasn't a gap, and it just slipped it to the side and down for a layup.
Collins, her first 3 attempt. Lacey was looking to power it up, and it dropped away. A good one here in the second semifinal. 4:51 to play and a timeout on the floor. 22-15, the defending champs on top by 7.
And welcome back to Redbird Arena. 22-15, Naperville Central leading Marian Catholic. I found the unofficial fan club for Candace Parker right here in the front row. What's your name?
Whitney Adams. Haley Adams. Mackenzie Hughes.
You told me that Candace used to be your babysitter, or she still is?
Yeah, she still is.
Tell us the untold story. Give us the dirt on Candace. What's she really like?
Well, she's different when she's off the basketball court.
Is she a nice babysitter?
Oh, yeah.
What does she do with you guys?
Since we have a pool in our backyard, we go swimming, we shoot around in our front yard and stuff like that.
Did she give you basketball pointers?
Sometimes, but most times we just play around.
What do you play?
Board games and stuff.
You've already got the Tennessee t-shirt. Let me see your sign here. Go Candace Parker. Way to go. What's your prediction for tonight?
They'll win.
Okay. The Candace Parker fan club is out in force. She's a good babysitter and a good ball player, guys.
That's why she's an All-American. Three-point play from Lauren Grahowski quickly boosts the lead back to 10 for the Redhawks. Marian had that little run, got it to within 3.
Turnovers and poor shot selection has really hurt Marian here in the last couple of minutes of the game.
Central still staying in the zone. Taylor, quick first step. She was there, would not go. And here's the break. Good hands by Lacey, running the floor. Lauren Lacey headed to the University of Minnesota. 3-year starter all 3 years downstate. Shannon Reedy says there's a special place in her heart for Lauren Lacey.
You know, in talking to Candace's dad, she said that her knee is about 90% healed, and it takes a little while to get back to use of your leg after, and you have some kind of mental block a little bit. And you can see that her lateral movement is just not what it was last year. When she's on one side of the basket, it's hard to slide back across to the other. Her quickness is just not there. And that's what Marian's taken advantage of with those rebounds.
Midway through the second period. That's the 8th turnover by Naperville Central. Brea Banks, tough shot. Parker on a 3-on-2 to Chrissy. Cannot finish as Lacey will pull down the board. It's Lauren Lacey's 4th rebound. Here comes Collins.
Both teams are just up and down, and there's not a lot of execution. They're just relying on their skills right now. Marian Catholic has really got to work the ball in areas like that.
Ashley Haluska with the turnaround, 7 points here in this quarter. There's another young lady coming off of knee surgery. This is just her 12th game of the season.
She really picked up the offense for Marian. She's really helped them in this game.
Both Haluska and Lacey on the floor at the same time for Shannon Reedy's team. Carter hit some big threes last night. Doesn't hit anything there. Sky Johnson into the game, replacing Collins. 42 points, that low. The McDonald's shootout was possibly the low point of the season. That came against North Pickerington, Ohio, one of the outstanding teams in the nation, in a 41-point loss.
Easy, ladies. Easy.
Down by 8. Lacey looks to cut it more and will whistle. And there is a push against Haluska, is my guess, as Parker ended up on the floor. If so, then Darrell, they've been listening to you. Actually, Haluska put a body on Candace Parker.
She put a body on her that time.
41 points, the low for Naperville Central. That came in that loss at the end of December, and piled up 88 on Plainfield South just before the tournament started.
They really need to keep Candace off the offensive boards, but more than the defensive boards.
Lauren Grahowski once again coming up big. Zandy Nussbaum says she's the one nobody talks about. She had a big putback basket off a missed free throw last night. She has 9 points here today.
And she played very well in the Dundee Crown tournament, which they won.
You know, and in fact, if we look back at that Dundee Crown Christmas tournament last year, we're talking about a year ago, complete year ago, the 1-2-3 finishers at Dundee Crown finished 1-2-3 in the state finals. You're asking, well, what happened this year? Well, the 1-2-3 at Dundee Crown this year went Naperville Central, New Trier, Fenwick.
Dundee Crown is the best tournament in the state year after year.
Chrissy finishes. Naperville Central just beating Marian Catholic down the floor. Haluska keeps coming up big.
Yeah, all of those fast breaks that Naperville's getting are coming from either a turnover or just poor shot selection.
Haluska with 9 points. All here in the second quarter off the bench. Parker at the high post. They want to get it to her. Hits. 11 points for Candace, her first bucket here in the second quarter.
Well, when she can stand in the lane for that long and get the ball down in that area, she's going to have a hard time being stopped.
Boy, Hawaska is feeling it right now. Didn't get it. Numbers working against Parker, so she'll pull up. Banks it in.
Basket by Candace Parker.
14-point difference. And possibly more with 51.8 seconds left.
That was just a possible presence of Candace Parker behind Lauren, made her a little bit nervous. Tried to be a little too fast, put the ball on the floor, didn't really pound it between her legs, and it bounced right off.
A little glass for Parker.
I'm sure she called that glass too before she shot.
I was looking to see if she was going to have a little grin on her face coming back down, so she didn't tip us off if she didn't. Jackie Pryor is fouled. It should be a 1-and-1 now for the Redhawks. In yesterday's ball game, Naperville Central in the win over Richwoods had no scoring from their bench. Everything came from their starters.
And
Ludwig back in for Parker.
The game's starting to slip away a little bit from Marian right here. This is an important part just before the end of the half. And Naperville's getting all this momentum. They got some subs in the game now, so Marian's got to do something real quick.
That lead was down to 3. Since then, it's been a 16-1 run.
It all started with a turnover and a layup.
They checked that 16-4 run. Still around the perimeter. Collins looking inside. Haluska cannot get open. Johnson, the feed to Lacey. And unable to finish. Time for one last shot here for Naperville Central. Hudson sees the clock. Chrissy open. So Naperville Central closes strong here in the second quarter. They will take a 16-point lead to the locker room, 35-19, as they take advantage, as Darrell said, turnovers and some poor offensive execution. And it was almost as if Naperville Central regrouped, just took a little bit of a breath after the run by Marian Catholic, regrouped and said, okay, let's push it out. Let's have ourselves a little bit more relaxing locker room at the half. Let's go down to Allison.
Hi, I'm with Coach Andy Nussbaum, and Coach, it seems like the rest of the team is kind of stepping off their offense a little bit in this game more than Candace Parker. Is that something that you wanted to do more of in these coming games?
Well, we just wanted to play a better team game than we played last night, and I think we're doing a better job of that all the way around. And I mean, all our players are getting involved a little more. Candace is still Candace, though, and she's doing very well. I was really pleased with our defense in the first half.
I was going to ask you about that because it seemed like they were getting more points like in on the paint, and if you were going to change anything.
Well, to tell you the truth, we actually intended to kind of switch out of zone and man, and it seems like zone is working pretty well for us. We've got a situation where we don't want kids to get any more fouls. So, you know, we'll see what we're going to do in the second half, but at this point, I'm pretty pleased. But we know it's not over yet.
No, it's not. Well, good luck. I'm sure you guys will do great. All right, back to you guys at the desk.
A 17-4 run to close the second quarter pushes Naperville Central to the 35-19 halftime lead. New Trier awaits the winner of this one. We'll step aside for a moment for these words from your local station.
Welcome back to Redbird Arena. It's Naperville Central with a 35-19 lead here over Marian Catholic at the half. This is the widowest Red Hawks fan here. This is Ian. Say hi, Ian.
Say hi.
Say hi, buddy. He is, oh, I made him cry now twice in the last couple of minutes. He was just having a bottle. He was just having a bottle. And here's all his big sisters right here. The Naperville Central cheerleaders.
Go Hawks.
Hey, tell me about summer camp. How much work goes into this for you guys?
A lot of work. Our season starts in July, so we're excited to be going this long. 2 years in a row. It's really fun.
Tell me about the mood at school this week, you guys. It's not old hat, I'm sure. I'm sure it's very exciting for you coming back the second straight year.
It's very excited. We've all been really excited to come down second year in a row, but we're all really excited.
Give us a good Naperville Central cheer. We want to hear a cheer. We're going to see you again tonight. Give us a big Red Hawks cheer. All right, thank you very much, ladies. Way to go. Congratulations, way to go. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Let's bring in Jim Russo, our friend from last year. He was the friendly coach. You were hugging everybody, and we love that. And I even get one, too, from Regina Dominican. Good to see you back down here. We wish you were playing, but good to see you here.
Well, we wish we were here, too, Lee, but hopefully we'll get back in the future, but we had a great time last year.
Yeah, tell me when you look back on last year, the memories, for you, the girls, just being here and being a part of this.
It's something that I know I'll never forget, and I really mean this. When you look at other great coaches that have been around a long time and haven't gotten here, and for my kids, I know it's something they will always remember. Even those that went on to college to play high school in the IHSA state tournament is something they'll never forget.
You've played 3 of the Final 4 teams, right? New Trier, Marian Catholic, and Naperville Central. How do you see this game playing out here? Naperville, I mean, they're obviously a good squad and they lead by a lot here, but they've looked rough at times.
I think last night, Candace Parker said it well. They didn't play their game against Peoria. They came out here today to make a statement. I think that they're ready to play for a championship. They're shooting the ball real well. They're running the floor well. Marian's got their hands full with them today.
Tell me about New Trier. What impresses you about them?
Well, I think it's a team that I've watched get better and better all year long. And the Dundee Crown, you could see evidences of it with both of the big girls playing together. And I think right now they've got the best front line in the state. They're going to be awful difficult for anybody to beat.
They're playing in the state championship tonight. They get the winner here. Jim Russo, a pleasure.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Good to see you again. All right, Jim Russo, Regina Dominican, third here 1 year ago. Back with more from Redbird Arena after these local messages. Stay with us.
Naperville Central won in the quarterfinals last year against Marian Catholic by 20, and they lead it by 16 here at the half. And we welcome you back here to Redbird Arena, and glad you've joined us here for the IHSA coverage of girls AA basketball. And Darrell, you know, last year Shannon Reedy said, I think I spent too much time preparing for one player, Candace Parker. Well, and she was going to change her philosophy a little bit, and so far she's run into some roadblocks here today.
Yeah, it's a pretty balanced effort for Naperville, and Naperville's got 8 points on fast breaks, and Marian Catholic, who likes to transition, has got none. and they're being out-rebounded 17-12. It's a big difference. Plus the turnovers. Marian has turned the ball over in critical situations, and their shot selection hasn't been good. They have to get back into the situation where they take good shots, maybe get to the foul line a little bit more, and not worry so much about, taking the quick shot.
Let's take a look at those first half statistics here. As Darrell mentioned, you see the rebounding numbers, 19-16. Marian from the field at 8 of 31 works out to just 25.8%. And again, that ties in to the offensive execution.
And look at the assists. I mean, it just shows that Naperville is passing the ball around, and they're involving everyone.
Points in the paint, 20-12, as it all works out to Naperville Central's favor, and why not? They are the defending state champs. They're top ranked in the state of Illinois, and they are looking for their second consecutive state championship right here on this floor. You stay right there. There's more coming up at the half, but first we'll take a moment to step aside for these words from your local stations. Candace Parker, a big first half for Naperville Central, 13 points. That's coming off her 35-point performance last night in the quarterfinals, and she got things going here early, scoring 9 of those points in the first quarter, working strong inside. On the other side, Casey Taylor has struggled, except here. Nice putback by Casey. Lauren Grahowski, she had a big bucket last night. She makes it happen inside here. But the person that's made it inside for Marian Catholic, that's Ashley Haluska.
She's kept them in the ball game, if you can say they're still in the ball game. But shooting percentage for Marian Catholic, 25% is just not going to make it. And couple that with the fact that Naperville's shooting 55%. It's a big difference right here.
Tiffany Hudson running the show. Tiffany Hudson running the floor. Converts off the fast break. And Naperville Central has pushed it out thanks to that 17-4 run at the end of the first half. They lead it 35-19. Lee Hall standing by with Shannon Reedy. Well, actually,
here she comes.
Okay. Well, Shannon Reedy has a situation at her hands where she's got to catch up a lot big, and now she's with Lee. Lee?
All right, Coach, you guys found some cracks in that zone, but didn't score enough.
Yeah, we're just not getting very consistent. We made some nice runs and got it to win a couple points, but then we come down here on defense and we turn them into a transition team, and we're not getting back. And that's, I think we're working on Candace pretty well. Other kids for their team is stepping up, what you would assume, but we got to get a little edge in ourselves. I mean, we got to get a little bit more heart here, and we got to start running the floor better. I feel like we're walking the ball up the court. You can't do that against Naperville Central and have them just sit in their zone and not pick it apart. We're doing some nice things with other kids. Ashley Haluska's coming in, taking some jump shots. We need the other kids to understand that. You're not going to be able to go one-on-one with Candace in the post because of her height. Take the short jumpers, take the reversals, and we got to open it up around the perimeter a little bit more.
All right, Coach, good luck second half. Back with second half action after this network break.
Earlier this afternoon, New Trier punched their ticket to the state championship game with a 38-35 win over Fenwick behind Deidre Naughton, 16 points. And right now, Naperville Central has 16 minutes to work with, try to match up with the Trevians. But they will give it away here in the first 7 seconds.
Well, Marian Cat's going to need a little more of that if they're going to get back in this game.
Well, they're in the mode right now, Darrell. They just flat out have to make a run and a big run. I mean, you have 16 minutes to make up 16 points. I don't know how slowly you can chip away at it.
Not like that.
Hudson the steal. Chrissy, a little too much off the glass. The other way is Johnson. Fell off balance just a little bit, slipped just a little bit as she started to take off. The Spartans miss an opportunity there. Parker down the middle of the lane. Let's see whether Marian does get out and run a bit more. That is not what Shannon Reedy was referring to when she spoke with Lee just moments ago.
It's pretty hard to throw a lob pass to the smallest player on the floor when Candace Parker's around.
So New Trier will be playing in their second state championship game in their history. Back in 1989, John Schneider took the Trevians to a second place finish.
That was over Marshall.
Grahowski on the high lob. Good leaping ability from Casey Taylor, and tell you what, you don't mess with her. She's the defending state triple jump champion. He went straight up, looked more like a high jump there. Carter bottoms the three.
When she's open, she's just money out on that wing and on the right-hand corner.
Carter with a pair of three-pointers here in this game. The other way is Brea Banks. Banks with just her second basket of the day.
Yeah, she's been awfully quiet today, and she was a big, big factor yesterday for Marian.
The matchup here is Parker on Taylor. See how they elect to play this one. Out front, it's Johnson and Hudson. They free up Parker. Grahowski over Lacey. Finally clearing it away to Collins, and now the numbers in Marian's favor. Keisha Collins off the back iron. Johnson follows. Couple of free throws coming up. Johnson.
Ball is just not dropping at all for Marian. They're having quick shots, and they're not really getting percentage shots, and they're just not really concentrating on putting the ball in. They're off balance on most every shot they've taken.
How ironic that is. Last night in the win over Grays Lake, Marian Catholic tied a tournament record with 58% shooting from the field, and here they are sitting 9 of 34. That's just 26.5%.
Yeah, but you got a little bit different defense out there right now.
Yes, you do. Johnson's first points of the day. Balanced scoring indeed, but it's not a lot of scoring. Actually, Haluska leads Spartans with 9. Grahowski, she's had an impact today.
That's 11 points for her, and you know, she did a great job at, like I said, the Dundee Crown tournament. She's kind of an unsung hero for them. You just can't forget about her.
Bad pass. Carter is there. Carter, a sophomore, along with Grahowski. Here comes Haluska back into the game to replace Lacey. Lauren Lacey, about 15 points below her average. She still has over a quarter and a half to play, but that's an impact player right there that has not been able to put it in.
It seems like she's been camped out in the corner and not underneath the basket where she is more sufficient.
The cut from Parker, the feed from Hudson, the foul on Banks. And we talk about Lacey. She was a finalist for the McDonald's game. I mean, you're talking about, of course, Candace Parker playing in that ball game, also that in the WBCA game in the Final Four at New Orleans. But Lauren Lacey, one of the finalists, along with, I believe, Lindsay Wisdom Hilton, I believe, were the two other finalists from Illinois.
Right, and Allie Quigley and from Joliet Catholic, and Candace are going to play in the WBCA All-American in New Orleans.
Quite an honor for girls basketball in the state of Illinois.
Well, we also have Andy Nussbaum, who's going to be an assistant coach in one of the teams.
Timeout on the floor with a 17-point lead belonging to Naperville Central. This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Apt Electronics and Appliances. For the largest selection of electronics and appliances at the best possible price, visit Apt in Glenview. They're still getting those signs moving on the Marian Catholic side. They need a little help down on the floors. Naperville Central, those guys pretty happy. 17-point lead. They're looking for a chance to come play in that 8 o'clock championship game tonight. And of course, you can catch these games right here on IHSA TV. Starting at 6:30 tonight, third place game, Fenwick will take on the loser of this ball game, followed by the Queen of the Hill, the Country Insurance Showdown, A and AA, and then followed by the state championship game. We crown a state champion. You take a look at those numbers right there. That tells a big part of the story of this game.
It's got to do a lot with the offensive philosophy of Marian. They're just not working the ball in. They're using their 4 out, 1 in. And with Candace Parker, who's going to match up inside with her?
Banks drives the baseline. Parker came out and got her. Candace Parker, you see the red headband for Naperville Central on her wrist. She has a orange. It still looks a little red there. I think it's her left wrist that has the orange wristband, the color for Tennessee. Well, she's playing it both ways here as Banks hits the first free throw.
And foul is on Julie Joyce for first personal. She's replaced by Grahowski.
Lauren Grahowski comes back into the game. Julie Joyce had been in for her momentarily. Last night, Brea, 17 points, 11 in the fourth quarter. Parker really harassed there. Pick a number. Somebody got her. There's that orange wristband.
Well, Marian Catholic's trying to get more aggressive defensively, and they're going after the ball, but a little too aggressive in that situation.
Again, a man-to-man here. As the lob goes in, Parker out to Grahowski. Block out by Banks, but Christie came away with the ball. Andy Nussbaum in his 16th year, 350 wins. That young man.
Second personal foul, second team foul.
6 20-win seasons in a row for Andy.
You know, when you hear that, everybody says, well, anybody can coach, you know, an All-American, a Player of the Year, but start running them together like that. You know, there's been some 20-win seasons in his back pocket before Candace got there. Tough shot by Hudson.
That's true, and you really have to give their other players credit because they have really fit into a team situation. It's not just a one-person team. When they play, you watch them all play.
Well, we saw that last night in the fourth quarter when they came back on Richwoods. There's the block by Parker, though. That's kind of nice to have the enforcer back there. Carter wanted it. Grahowski all by herself. 13 points for the 5'11" sophomore. The 20-point difference matches the difference in these two teams last year. Johnson will chop that to 18. 61-41 was the score last year in the state quarterfinals that sent Marian Catholic home. They made the return trip here. They got Grayslake last night, 74-67. They've had a tough go of it here. Hudson all the way to the bucket.
Marian Catholic seems like they're just a little bit resigned to their fate right now, and they're not really pushing the ball and doing the things they were doing at the beginning of the game.
Brea Banks with her 5th point here in the quarter. Hudson right in front of us takes a deep breath. Banks is on Parker up top. Grahowski guarded by Haluska. There's a lot of contact out front. You just wonder when it was going to go. Parker or Haluska, or Parker or Banks, and it's Parker who picks up the foul. That whistle was going to blow sooner or later. You knew that was coming.
They were doing a lot of pushing and shoving out on top. That one could have gone either way. Usually they see the second push.
That might have been the 4th, maybe 5th or 6th push in that sequence. Johnson, good elevation. Lacey strong. Touched her last. Frustrating game for Lauren Lacey. And make sure you're with us here coming up this evening between games, between our 3rd place game and championship game. We will crown the Queen of the Hill. Tara Michaels earlier today knocked down 13 to win the Class AA championship, and She will face Megan Strelo out of Prophetstown, who last week also bottomed out 13. That should be a great matchup. Chrissy in the corner. Nice hands by Lacey to knock it away. Chrissy so tough from behind, just quick hands. Rachel Chrissy, interesting. You know, you look at her, and she doesn't score much. 8.5 points a game. She had 4 last night, 4 today. Plays great defense. She's going to Providence College to play Division I hockey. Andy Nussbaum said, you know, Rachel Chrissy is one of the top 3 players that I have coached. And that's quite a tribute to a young lady whose numbers you don't just jump out at you.
Well, she's the toughness part of Naperville. She really puts a lot into the game, and she's a total team player. Yet, if you remember last year, she's the one that hit those big shots near the end of the game.
That's right.
With Fenwick.
That was Parker's 10th rebound of the day, make that her 11th, go along with her 13 points. Collins picks her pocket. Taylor all the way to the hole. Littlest player on the floor gets the rebound, and Keisha Collins all 5 feet 3 inches of her.
And she heard those footsteps coming from behind her, and it just made her change the trajectory of the shot a little bit. And the angle was bad, too. When you're going for layups like that, you have to get a good angle to put it up on the board or go right over the front.
Brea Banks will be back next year with a 6-foot junior. In fact, this is a Marian Catholic team that graduated 9 players from last year's quarterfinal team. There's not many teams around. You can graduate 9 seniors and come back and do it again and take one step farther.
And there's a lot of talent coming into that school down south.
Marian Catholic hailing from Chicago Heights. 8 points for Banks. The lead is safely in the back pocket of Naperville Central as they may start thinking once the 4th quarter hits about New Trier in the championship game. Hudson comes away with the loose ball. There's Collins again. Here she comes on the feed. Well, that's what I think Marian wanted to do for a lot more of the time of this game than they've been able to do. Special guest in the crowd here at Redbird Arena. Oh my, it is Kermit the Frog. Outstanding. You know, the wonderful thing about that, Kermit, wonderful thing is it's exclusive seating. You see, nobody's sitting around Kermit. He's all right. He's blocked that off. Happy that you could be with us. Pay no attention to the man behind the green. Hey, bring them all out here. Let's take tournament. Sky Johnson with her 5th and 6th points of the day as we hit the 60-second mark in the 3rd quarter. A 16-point lead at the end of the half. It sits at 15 right now. Hudson, the quick move, the left-hand scoop. Lacey yanks down the board. It's Lauren's 7th rebound of the game.
Well, Marian Catholic's trying to put on some defensive pressure here. They're trying to speed up the game, which they should have done a little bit in the beginning. So we'll see what's going to happen.
I'd like to make a little bit of a run right here. You know, a bucket here, maybe a 3.
Get it back to respectability first, and then you try to do a little bit after that.
The skip pass. Lacey creates her own space, and Ludwig is there for the rebound for the Red Hawks. Chrissy does not leave the floor much, does she? Rachel Chrissy stays out there.
No, she's a leader on the floor, too.
Hudson to hold for the final 10 seconds. Lacey with the body on Parker. 2 shots coming up for Candace Parker. She said 35 points for Parker last night. 30 points and 15 rebounds in the super sectional win for Parker. Pretty efficient day's work for the senior. She struggled from the free throw line last night. Candace made just 7 of 15.
Yeah, she did, and she's had a little trouble today. She was 1 for 1, I think, up to that point. But
Jackie Pryor, 5'6" freshman, will check in for Naperville. Johnson to Collins, got it up, but Chrissy with the block. 3/4 of this second semifinal game are in the books, and the 15-point lead belongs to Naperville Central at 46-31. Stay right there after these words from your local stations. We'll be back. The city of Peoria opens their doors to the boys tournaments coming up the next 2 weekends. We will be right there with you next weekend, next Friday and Saturday. It's the Class A boys taking center stage here in the IHSA television network. And then 1 week after that, the AA teams come to town at Carver Arena. Somebody will be hosting the trophy on each of the next 2 Saturdays. Boys A and AA coming your way in Peoria. Redbird Arena, the site of the girls' state championships. 1/4 to go here in the semifinals. And then it will be New Trier against one of the 2 teams at the bottom of your screen. The state championship at stake, girls AA basketball, your way tonight at about 8:15. And make sure you join us at 6:30. That's when the 3rd place game will take place. Then the Country Insurance Queen of the Hill competition precedes our state championship ball game. A hand on the ball from Chrissy.
Well, Naperville has just stayed in their 2-3 zone the whole second half, like Andy said they might do, because really Marian hasn't found a way to attack it efficiently.
Carter spots. She's been short on a couple. She's made a couple.
She's standing about 4 or 5 feet behind the line on those couple of those. Just a little bit out of her range.
You hear some of the Naperville Central players playing official.
I'm not sure if I was playing, I'd want to dribble the ball and attack right at her.
Johnson stops short of Parker and leaves it a little bit short. And Nussbaum says, let's slow it down a little bit. Johnson staying alive. Great feed to Taylor. Great job by Sky Johnson. She goes down and gets the ball, and then knowing that all of her teammates were in the front court, she couldn't dish it back. She said, you know what, I'm just going to bounce it right off the Redbird's head and let somebody come and get it. And in the end, Taylor will go to the free throw line.
That shows that Marian is still competing.
Well, coming up on 2:30. Now, one of these teams, and right now it certainly looks like Marian Catholic, will have to come back at 6:30. It'll be less than 4 hours difference. And should Naperville Central win, or whoever wins, they have to come back at 8 o'clock. How tough is that on that short little comeback time to get your body all recovered?
Well, usually when you're playing in a championship game, things like that don't bother you too much until maybe the 4th quarter when your legs get a little bit tired. The thing you'd worry about here is Candace. Candace seems to be in about 90% like her dad said, and she seems to be a little slow. She hasn't played the entire season. She's not in as good a shape as she was last year. And, you know, depending on what the game goes like this afternoon and then tonight, it could wear on her. And playing against New Trier, which looks like it's going to be. New Trier's got 2 big posts inside, so she's going to have to do a lot of work.
It's only a 13-point difference here, and we say only in terms of it has been 20 points at one stretch. 6:36 left. These young ladies are not about to give up.
Well, the one thing Naperville does not want to do is stop the clock with fouls. They want to let the game go and make Marian shoot the ball, because they haven't shot the ball extremely well. But you put them at the free throw line, stop the clock, that's going to give them an opportunity to get back into the game.
Marian in the bonus situation, and Johnson converts.
The other situation is here, the closer that Marian gets, even if they don't win the ball game, the more that the Naperville starters have to stay on the floor, and that takes some out of them too.
The lead is narrowed to 11. Here comes Hudson, bad spot. Actually, almost kind of lucky to find Parker where she did.
Well, they got those long arms. Just throw it up and she'll find it.
Yep. Chrissy, penetration. Chance to cut this lead under double digits. Here's Collins, all the way to the hole. Parker coming away with it, and she is fouled by Johnson, who once again will peel herself off this Redbird Arena floor.
So we talked a little bit about angles on the other layup. That ball should have been shot right up over the rim, but when you throw the ball up at the basket with that kind of speed, you don't have any real touch on the ball. And from the side, you got to get to the block so you get the proper angle. It's much easier to make those shots. And that was a big, big layup in this game.
Would have made it a 9-point game.
Yeah, with 6 minutes left, that's something that wouldn't be too bad for Marian.
The count is on here. Chrissy will have to get rid of it. Just does. Very content here to use a little clock. Grahowski, Parker, and fouled before the shot.
It's probably a good foul. Would have been an easy layup. Now she has to go to the free throw line, and Candace has struggled a little bit today.
So she was on the floor, so seeing that was the 6th team foul for Marian, and will put the ball out of bounds as Haluska will come back in. Haluska still leads Spartans in scoring today with 9. Lauren Lacey, 5 points today. And another turnover. That's the 14th of the day by Naperville Central. Here comes Johnson, splitting the defense. Does not go down. That would have been huge. Two opportunities here for Marian to get it underneath 10 points, and they could not do it on either occasion.
That was huge. No, Marian Catholic still is pounding the ball right at Candace Parker instead of getting angles, drawing her in and dishing to other people. And it hasn't worked out for him.
Parker 13 points, 14 rebounds here in this game.
There's the first one. That's the first point of the second half for Candace, I believe, isn't it?
You are right on that one, sir.
So she's been trying to move the ball around, get the ball to other people, but the other people haven't been doing as good a job in the second half.
1 of 2. Blocking foul on Erica Carter as Johnson wanted the baseline. Well, Sky Johnson's not the person you want to put at the line. She is 6 of 6 from the line today, a 69% free throw shooter on the season.
She's had a real good opportunity to go to the basket there. Erica Carter tried to cut her off, but they have a new rule this year too. If you have your foot out of bounds, it's a foul. You can't step out of bounds. The IHSA put that in. It's pretty hard to look down and find out where your foot is and then try to stop somebody going to the basket. Used to be you teach them just get your foot on that baseline and stop that cut.
Johnson stays perfect. Free throw here makes it a 10-point game with 5 minutes left. There are your scoring leaders, double figures from Parker and Grahowski. Johnson reaches double figures for Marian. 47-37. This was a 20-point game here in the second half at one point.
It's going to give Sky Johnson a little bit of rest right now.
I believe it was 44-24. That's a 13-3 run here by Marian. Interesting matchups. Sarah Pillen, the freshman, is in guarding Hudson. Nearly picks Hudson's pocket, had her hand on her hip, and she'll get the foul call. Interesting matchups. Lacey was on Chrissy. Banks and Parker. Grahowski with 4 personal fouls for Naperville Central. That's the only person in foul trouble. Got to look at Julie Joyce, 5'11" junior, wearing number 5 for Naperville Central as Hudson goes to the line. Misses the first free throw.
You have to make those free throws when it's down to the wire.
Big, big trip here. Haleska with the hook.
That's just a bad shot selection.
Her prayer was almost answered, though.
It's the point where you have to get a shot that's going to be in the basket. You have to draw her away and then go to another area.
Great feed from Hudson to Joyce. Banks penetrates. Parker goes high to attempt the block, affect the shot. Lacey, the rebound basket. 7 points for Lacey. That's her first points since the first quarter. Lauren Lacey, very quiet today, but the lead is down to 10. This IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. And Chevrolet. Stop by and see your local Chicago, Northwest Indiana, or Central Illinois Chevy dealer today. 10-point lead for Naperville Central, and we'd like to remind you that this copyrighted broadcast is presented for the entertainment and non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction or other use of this program without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association and cost broadcast sales is strictly prohibited. 4:15 to play. A 10-point difference. It's the state tournament. Anything goes.
Anything goes on defense right now. I think Marian's going to try to put a lot of pressure on, and if they get beat at the free throw line, that's going to happen.
Chrissy dribbles away from the trap momentarily. Johnson with the bump. That will send Erica Carter to the free throw line. Carter's maybe not the one you want to put there. Coming in for this game, 39 of 49 on the season. That's good for an 80% clip. It's her first time she'll head to the line today. It's her 9th team foul on Marian, so after this 1-and-1 attempt, every free throw the Naperville Central shoots will be the super bonus.
She's quite a shooter, and she's probably the best free throw shooter on the team because of her accuracy.
She is number 1, Rachel Christie number 2. And Carter bottoms them both up. Banks goes against Ludwig and Parker with the block.
They're going right at Parker and trying to shoot over her instead of getting to the ball to the person in the open area.
Around we go. Carter, nice job to cover up Lacey. Lacey's actually the leading three-point shooter on this club in terms of percentage. Haleska can't do it. Ludwig does. Ahead to Hudson and the Redhawks. They'll make sure they get something easy here. Carter will go back to the line.
And that's not a good sign. They had it down in a workable situation, and now it's going to get away from them again.
2 free throws coming up for the 5'10" sophomore. She came down here last year in the state finals and impressed everyone as a very calm, relaxed, and effective freshman.
She was a terrific shooter at Dundee Crown. She actually hit 3 big threes from the corner that pretty much won the game for them. Not this year, but last year. And she's just gotten better and better.
Take a look at the scoring leaders. All right, rebound leaders, we should say. Parker with 14, Lacey with 8, and that kind of balances off Lauren's 7-point game per game total here in this one. 10 points now for Carter. Every time Naperville Central has been pushed a little bit here, they've pulled away. Nice shot by Sky Johnson. She has a dozen.
She had great balance. It came off the little screen and went to the right and stopped and popped right in the middle of the key area. Nice arc, nice rotation, and good concentration.
Parker wants a timeout as Banks was holding on along with Collins. They were all nearby. 53-41 with 3 minutes to play here in the semifinals. Back with a final 2:56 after this.
We are back at Redbird Arena where Naperville Central is up by 12 in the 4th quarter. I'm over here in the central crowd, and guys, those are some pretty hot hats. What do they do? What do they do?
They're amazing. We got them today. They're firepower, just like our team. We are tough. We're gonna take this one.
Well, I'm from Naperville. Can I wear one of those hats, you guys?
Sure, no problem. There you go.
All right. What makes you guys such great fans over here? What makes you guys such great fans?
We're just the super fans here.
Yeah, we love the girls. The girls love it when everybody comes out and just having a good time, supporting the girls.
All right, back to you guys at the table.
I think we ought to get IHSA TV issued hats like that. That's a good look for us all.
Classy. That's it good.
Well, I'm sure that Andy Nussbaum in the timeout was talking about clock management and the fact there's only about 3 minutes left to get to the championship game. They got a nice lead and they just have to protect the ball, and they told them that Marian Catholic's probably going to come out and foul. So keep the floor spread, keep good spacing, and cut to the ball. Go after every pass. And we don't need to shoot the ball unless it's a nice layup or a good percentage shot.
Central now 9 of 14 from the line today. That's good for 64%. As we said, they struggled a little bit yesterday, and that number's going to dip a little as Parker misses both. Once again, a chance to get it to 10. Sky Johnson trying to do just a bit too much there. Rohowski will replace Kristen Ludwig. And actually, they do it on the fly as one official inbounded the ball as the substitution exchange was being made out 3/4 court the other way. Chrissy and Hudson both had shots, but not at this stage of the game. It's all about the clock now with 2:20 to play.
And Marian Catholic is just letting them move the ball around the perimeter and not putting a lot of pressure on, no double teams.
Backdoor cut by Parker, and Chrissy finds her.
That's just smart basketball. They're holding on to you, overplaying you. You need to go to the basket.
Not a good ball game scoring-wise from Lauren Lacey, just 7 points. She has only made 3 of 12 shots from the field today.
And most of them perimeter shots.
Taylor and Chrissy, the ball's still there. There's Johnson. Now, if you want contact, you don't want to get involved with Rachel Chrissy. As we said, she's a Division I hockey player. She's used to dishing out the punishment as Casey Taylor is still down. She got caught underneath Chrissy a little bit as they went for that loose ball. And, you know, I'm wondering right now, Darryl, we had a kind of a tough angle, but I think she fell right on the ball.
Right on the basketball and probably knocked the wind out of her. Hopefully that's what it is.
Second personal. That's a nice team foul.
Yeah, that midsection area is what happened, and probably did fall right on the ball.
Right there in the ribs. She's taking some pretty deep breaths on the floor right now. Casey Taylor, a surprise this year for Shannon Reedy. As she said, she knew she was a great athlete, the state triple jump champion. She didn't realize she'd be this effective on the basketball floor, but all Casey's done this year is average 10.2 points per game and 4.7 rebounds per game.
She's so athletic that she's able to get out on a break, and she's able to rebound and get the ball inside a little bit.
Now, we don't want to make any diagnosis by just looking off the screen or just looking in front of us, but again, it appears as if she's just trying to catch her breath right now. I'd like to inform the folks down the line that we're going to take break number 27. Minute 42 to play. We'll stay here as long as Taylor's at her feet. She's got a little bit of a walk to get back to her bench. Naperville Central fans giving her a big hand. She's pretty light on her feet right there.
Yeah, she's going to be okay, I think.
Well, she makes her way to the bench. Naperville Central will make their way back onto the floor as Marian Catholic just kind of checking out their teammate. Here they come with a minute 42 to play, and at the free throw line is Sky Johnson. Johnson, 8 of 8 from the line today. She has such a nice touch at that free throw line.
This is probably going to tie a record if she makes this one. State tournament.
Lacey right over the top for the rebound. The foul on Candace Parker.
32, Candace Parker. Her third personal, 10th team foul.
Lauren Lacey has led her team in scoring since January 28th. In every game since January 28th. Makes the first one there. She has 8. She's got a ways to go to catch Johnson, who has 13. She has led her team in scoring in 11 straight games. 9 points, still looking for double figures. 11-point difference, a minute and a half to work with. Collins will send Hudson to the line.
That was just a nice little play by Hudson. She really created the contact there, but the referee, the position that he was in, couldn't see that. She put her body into her and then just kind of bounced off of her.
Got 4 free throws in a row missed now as Jackie Pryor comes back in to the game.
Tiffany Hudson carried this team early in the season. She just did a great job controlling everything, getting the ball inside. She was our leading scorer for a while.
You know, we talk about Parker was gone for those 11 games, but guess what? Naperville Central was 9-2 in those 11 games without Parker.
And they played some pretty decent teams.
Those 2 losses came on consecutive days at the end of November, around Thanksgiving time. The losses to Bartlett and Bennett Academy, 2 outstanding teams in their own right.
Well, Bartlett's got one big girl, Lindsay Schrader, inside that probably did a lot of damage with them with Candace out of the game. And Bennett's a big rivalry out there, and they had a couple of real good shooters. And they had a pretty good inside game with their younger kids also.
It appears as if Naperville Central will be playing for their 2nd consecutive state championship. Just killing the clock right now, and actually Marian shows no real indication that they want to get out there and foul to stop the clock intentionally. They had the bullseye on their backs. Naperville Central did this year after the undefeated state championship season last year. It is a struggle when, as Andy Nussbaum says, you go from being Cinderella to being the bully. And you've got to get yourself back to the championship game before you have a chance to win it. And that's exactly what Naperville Central has done today. For the 2nd straight year, the Redhawks eliminate Marian Catholic from the state tournament. And Naperville Central will be playing for the state championship against New Trier coming up tonight at about 8 o'clock. And all those folks from Naperville will stay in town. Your final score here in this one turns out to be a 12-point difference, 56-44. Naperville Central, the win. They did lead by as many as 20 points, had the lead cut to 10, but they are able to always keep Marian Catholic at arm's length away. Candace Parker finishes with 16 points and 16 rebounds, so that makes 3 consecutive games here in the starting with the Sweet 16, 15 rebounds, 17 rebounds, and 16 rebounds. And Darryl, if we can look ahead, we'll talk about it a little bit more as Casey Taylor's helped off the floor. It will be interesting tonight to see whether those rebounding numbers can be the same when you match up with New Trier and Catherine Dykstra and Amy Jeske.
Well, those kids are big inside. The thing about it, it's going to be a mental game. We're going to see what Dykstra and Jeske do with their feelings, if they're a little bit intimidated by Candace, or if they're going to come out and really play solid.
Let's go down to Allison right now. Allison?
I'm here with the player of the game, Lauren Grahowski. What part of your game do you feel best helped out the team today?
Basically just going to the open shot and shooting. I've been working on my shooting lately, and that pretty much was my job.
All right, there's been a lot of pressure on you and the team to state. Was the road down here, did it meet all your expectations?
Yeah, well, it wasn't as easy as everyone thought it was. We had some pretty tough teams to play against, but I think we came to play Naperville Central basketball, and that's how we won.
What do you think you have to do to beat New Trier tonight?
We need to get a lot of rest when we get back to the hotel, eat good. Basically, just be ready.
All right, well, good luck and have fun tonight.
Thank you.
All right, over to you, Lee, with the coach.
All right, we're with Coach Andy Nussbaum. Coach, I know why you have gray hair. You guys were up 20, and the girls, both girls' teams made you work out there, didn't they?
Well, you know what happened is, the game got a little bit physical, and we're talking about girls who've had a lot of fatigue. I mean, this is 2 games in less than 24 hours, and so it got a little bit scrappy out there, and we finally pulled it together, and we're patient on offense in the fourth quarter, ran a little bit of clock. Erica made some free throws, and we're in a championship game.
You bet. Hey, have you guys played your best ball down here yet?
I don't think so. I thought the first half was a little more like we're accustomed to playing. Second half was a little raggedy, and Marian was a little more physical and forced us to play that way. But we get another shot, and that's really what we're looking for.
Tell me about New Trier tonight. Do you have a quick scouting report for us going into that ball game, what you can expect tonight?
Well, we played New Trier at Christmas time. Candace's second game back. It was actually her first start. We beat them by 14. I think they're a much better team than they were at that time. And at the same time, it was only Candace's second game back, and I think we're a much better team than we showed. So it's just, for all marbles, one game.
Yeah, only her second game back, and she had 19 points and 18 rebounds. Not bad. That's Candace, though. Good luck to you tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Andy Nussbaum playing for a second straight state title. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you very much, Lee. Our Apt Electronics play of the game comes your way right down the middle of the floor. That's Parker. The baseball pass ahead. The good speed from Tiffany Hudson. And Tiffany will finish this off, mouth wide open. Our final score here today, 56-44, and Andy Nussbaum mentioned that it was a 14-point win in December. That was 55-41. Both teams are improved, but you know what it's going to boil down to here, Darrell, is when everybody came down here, there were 8 teams down here. Everybody said, okay, how are these brackets, how are the pairings going to work out? I think most observers said, you know what, I think it's going to come down to New Trier and Naperville Central.
Well, New Trier, because Fenwick should have gotten there too, and Fenwick is very young. So New Trier has a little bit of experience. They have some seniors and a senior point guard that leads the team. And then with Naperville, of course, everybody thought that there was no one that could match up with Candace Parker, which is shown so far. And it's going to come down to how Jaski and Dykstra handle the inside game. Yeah, they'll get the ball inside to them if they can finish. They could even draw some fouls. Dykstra's a good jumper. She blocks shots. But, Candace is just going to have to take care of both of them because there's no size other than Candace inside for Naperville.
I think last year when we came down here, a lot of people, Redhawks from Naperville Central, had that undefeated season going. And, of course, Fenwick with Aaron Lawless was a mighty force in between there to get to that state championship. I think a lot of people thought of Naperville Central then, and maybe at points this year, as a team that was invincible. But I think we've seen down here, you've got some quality teams down here. Naperville Central, it's hard to sustain that emotion and that physical play for an entire 32 minutes. As Andy said, you play these games in such a short time period that people can forget about any idea that, here's a team that is definitely unbeatable.
Right, and you have the fatigue factor, and Candace isn't 100%. She's a little bit slow getting down the floor on defense a lot of times. And if she doesn't get down, New Trier gets the ball down the floor very fast, they can score. They have to get the ball down, and they can't really attack her like, they did against Marian. They have to take the ball to the open areas and then dish. And New Trier does a pretty good job at that. Their guards pass the ball very well. They also have to handle Hudson. They can't let her get those steals and get out on the breaks.
They are filing out of Redbird Arena. They will be coming back a little bit later. We're going to be coming back a little bit sooner, but first we're going to step aside for these messages. Naperville Central gets to play for the state title once again. 2 straight years for the Redhawks. They get that opportunity. New Trier, first time since 1989 that they get to play in that championship ball game. That will be coming your way later on this evening from Redbird Arena. But here in the second semifinal game of the day, we take a look back at some of the top plays and a big bounce pass there from Candace Parker inside to Rachel Chrissy. Got things started in a big way for Naperville Central. They raced out to the big 8-0 lead early, and it was tough for Marian to catch up from there.
They got a lot of transition baskets, and that really did hurt Marian.
Of course, when you can skip inside, Lauren Grahowski, our player of the game, converted nicely. A sophomore coming up big. Speaking of big, that would be Candace Parker, all 6 feet 4 inches of her. Knee brace or no? She goes finger roll, and she's a force no matter at what level she is playing at. Next year, of course, it'll be the University of Tennessee. And here's Grahowski once again. You know, it's players like Grahowski that a lot of times we talk about the big names that determine big games.
Well, those role players are important, and she's won, and she's done a great job for them this year, not only in this game, but all the way along the season.
Erica Parker as well, always an outside threat. Casey Taylor, we saw her being helped off the floor earlier, but she was an impact on that, follows her own miss, and that's textbook right there from Casey. Talking about textbook, how about the no-look pass? And Rachel Chrissy with the reverse and the follow from Parker. That's a pretty good combination right there, too. That's a combination of a couple of young ladies that have known each other since junior high school days. Ashley Haluska did her best to keep her team in the ball game in the first half. She had 9 points all in the first half. But Tiffany Hudson, you talked about her earlier, what an impact player she is. Once again, she picks up the assist on the dish to Grahowska. In fact, Hudson finished with 8 assists on the day. Here she comes again.
Pull up.
Bang.
Boom. Just great balance right there.
They like to run the floor. They like to get it up, and they like to go. Parker over the top. We said that was one of her 16 rebounds. You're looking right in the face of Redbird right here on this floor next year. Tiffany Hudson will be playing her ball right down here at Illinois State University. She'll be joining Amber Shelton. We had Amber in our ball game yesterday from Edwardsville.
Now, Nutrier tonight is going to have to just shoot a better shooting percentage. Naughton's got to be on to give them a chance. 25% shooting percentage for Marian Catholic in the game really did them in. And a lot was shot selection.
You can see one thing Naperville Central likes to do is run the floor. They will finish it with the layup, and sometimes they'll finish it with a little kiss off the glass.
Yeah.
Once again, Candace Parker. It's kind of nice when your 6 foot 4 inch post player can lead the way and finish it off. And again, I don't know, if we were playing a game of horse, I think Candace would have had to have done a little extra work there. But, you know, it really shapes up as an interesting championship game. Last year we sat here and we talked about Fenwick and Naperville Central. Tonight we talk about New Trier. And, of course, coming up this evening, you've got yourself more than championship basketball action. You've got yourself the third-place ball game. That should be a good one, too. Marian Catholic and Fenwick, conference rivals from East Suburban Catholic, get it on tonight at 6:30. And that'll be followed by the Queen of the Hill competition as we settle the Queen of the Hill three-point shooting champ from Class A and AA, and then, of course, the state championship game. That'll come your way at about 8 o'clock, and somebody is going to get that big trophy and bring it out home. Tonight at 8 o'clock, the girls' AA state championship trophy. As far as Naperville Central is concerned, they will be looking for trophy number 2. Well, how about next week? Where are we going to be next week? How about we just pack up all this equipment, we head down the road, and we open the doors to Carver Arena in Peoria. That's where the boys' action will take place. We started off next Friday and Saturday with boys' single A action. Of course, those super sectionals being played this coming Monday. Boys single A, the champ gets crowned, and then a week after that, the AA teams, the big guys come into town, and they will be hosting the trophy high, and we will be there for every minute. You've got 8 boys games next week in Class A, and the week after 8 AA games. That comes your way from Peoria in Carver Arena in each of the next 2 weekends. So again, you take a look at tonight's games. Fenwick and Marian Catholic, a battle in the East Suburban Catholic Conference. It's not the game they wanted to play, but they're going to go at each other hard, and that will be followed by the state championship game. New Trier, the Trevians under Terry Rogers and Andy Nussbaum's Naperville Central Redhawks. They will meet to try to bring home that big trophy. And again, Darrell, as I said, I was looking forward last year, of course, to the Lawless matchup with Parker, but we've got ourselves a good one tonight with New Trier.
Well, that will be a good game. I think it's going to be very competitive. It was a 14-point game, but Jaski's improved a lot, and Candace Parker has come back and playing. And 19 points is a pretty good performance for being injured.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our coverage here through the semifinals today. Earlier today, it was New Trier 38-35 winners over Fenwick. Deidre Naughton with 16 points in that ball game. And here in this one, Naperville Central comes away the 56-44 winner. So our state championship ticket is punched. We hope you stay right there. We'll give you a little break. Come on back at 6:30. We've got that state championship game coming your way at 8 o'clock. Until then, we'll talk to you.